Hey guys, we are at the top of the hour, which means it is time for our Friday training. Hello, welcome to the Champions Page training for today. If you don't know me, my name is Kevin Shaw. And guys, I am really excited for today's training. I'm going to be going over a few details, give you a little motivation, and explain how the Champions Page is going to work. Now, for those who are new, the Champions Page has been kind of all over the place as far as trainings go and how it works and the things provided. We are now changing that up, and I want to give you an insight on how the Champions Page will work for 2019. So let me start with that. So the Champions Page, primarily from here on out, is going to be a training page. So in the past, it's kind of been a melting pot of lots of things, and we'll still have a few of those available, especially when it comes to product launches and big announcements that you need to hear. But what should excite you is that when you come to the training page, you're going to get training. We know that the masses live here on the Champions Page, meaning that people who are just brand new, because we add hundreds of people a day to the Champions Page, so we know that brand new coaches who are new to Beachbody, so we say welcome and we love you. And then we also have coaches the majority of coaches who are below diamond rank. We love you too. And so because we understand that, we're going to now gear our training specifically to you. We're going to stay at a basic level that can help you improve your chances of getting more success in 2019. So instead of talking at a higher level, which those trainings do exist, but they just won't necessarily be here. Instead of talking at that high level, we're now going to be talking where you are at. We're going to start addressing the concerns you have rather than assuming you don't have those concerns. We're gearing each of our weekly trainings around different topics. The first week of every month, we're going to be talking about acquisition, which simply means how do you get more people to view your pages, how you can bring more people onto your team, all about bringing people to you. The second week, I have to look at my notes here, is all about retention. So once you now have these new people, how do you hold on to them so that they stick around and get the results that they're looking for and help them reach their definition of success? The third week will be geared towards duplication, which means you're showing people how to do it themselves. So you're bringing people in, you're helping them stay on. The third week of each month will be dedicated to how can you duplicate that over and over again. And the last week will be dedicated towards leadership, which is my favorite topic. If you don't know me, haven't watched any of my videos, let me tell you, leadership is my favorite topic, so I'm excited about that. So you'll see a consistent pattern now of how the Champions Page is going to work. So what does this mean for you? Bring your new coaches on. Bring them to the Champions Page. Let them see what they need to do to become successful. And you can see what week it is and know, okay, this week is the second week. It's going to be about retention. The first week's about acquisition. And you can say, make sure you watch the trainings. It's going to be on a consistent basis. Every Friday is going to be called a Vitals training, which simply means we're going to be focusing on one of those 4 areas. Now, every now and then, as you know, we're going to have product launches. That's completely fine, and we're going to be focusing on product launches because this is a great place to train you guys on product launches. So, for example, it's pretty darn close to the 14th when Transform 20 is going to go live. Next week, we're having Sean come on. We're going to have him talk about it. It's an addition to the normal sequence that we have, which is great. So we want to make sure you guys are there for that. So anyways, we're very excited about this. And the last thing that's going to be new, and we kind of introduced this towards the end of 2018, are these things called units. We're going to have our weekly trainings, but what happens with these posts is that they get buried in the feed. And it's hard to find which trainings you've seen, where did that one training go. So we're going to have scheduled specific trainings that are geared towards helping you understand how this company works and how you can build it. And those are going to be in the units section. I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction or not, but if you go to the Champions page, on the left-hand side is the units section. And so if you click on that, you'll see different units go through those trainings. These are trainings that we want to be units. There'll be a bunch of them throughout 2019, so pay attention to units. So that's kind of how the Champions page is going to work in 2019. We're very excited about that. Okay, that only took me 5 minutes. Perfect. Now I want to get to my 2 huge tips on how to significantly improve your chances of success this year. They are huge tips, but they're not new tips. And I want you to understand that if you do these 2 tips, the chances of you having success go up dramatically. And I can promise you that. But it does take discipline. It does take consistency. It does take stepping outside your comfort zone. Tip number 1, I got my notes right here, just make sure I say it right. And I'm going to illustrate these 2 tips using analogies, little things that you're familiar with, and then bringing it to what you know with the business. The first one I thought of is thinking about coaches. The new year is my absolute favorite time of the year, simply because it gives us that chance to reflect on how the past year went and to redirect how we want the new year to go. Reflect, redirect. It's kind of my thing right now. And I've done some reflecting about how coaches, because we talk to coaches so much here in the Utah office, we see a consistent theme happen. And this consistent theme is this, and maybe you fall into it. It starts off with high energy, high motivation, and desire to do well. Because it's a new year, or it's a new program, or you just signed up, whatever it may be, you start off really high. And that you can ride that wave for quite a while, but then all of a sudden you drop off, and because life happens, life gets in the way, life kind of takes over, and if we don't have those consistent patterns in place, then you kind of fall off. And then the emotion, the emotions, the energy, the motivation kind of dies down. And then you kind of get into the slum. You kind of get into the pits of life thinking, man, it's not what I thought it was. And then so you take a step back and you don't achieve what you initially had in the beginning. It happens to all of us. And I'm sure, I don't know where you are at in your journey, but we see it too many times. And so my tip number 1 is simply this: know where you want to go. Too many times, coaches fall on thinking that they don't need to have specific, measurable goals and action items to get where they want to go. They think they can do this by willpower alone. And I'm here to tell you that is not true. You cannot. It happens too often. You're fooling yourself if you think you can become successful just by happenstance, by randomly, I'm just going to will myself to success. If that's your attitude, if you don't have a plan in place, you're not going to do it. You guys remember from Alice in Wonderland, the Cheshire Cat. I know this example is used often, but it's so true. When Alice is asked, where are you going? She doesn't know. She's on a path, but she doesn't know where she's going. Think about that. Think about where you are now. Do you know what path you're on? You're all on a path. You're here. You've made it to Beachbody, so congratulations. But do you know what path you're on? Do you know what the end result looks like for you on that path? I don't know if enough of you do. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, sure, it's to make a lot of money and to be fit. Okay, that's too generic. You have to know which path you're on, because once you know the path you're on, you know what the terrain looks like. You know what the end result looks like. You know the gear you need to use to walk down that path. You know if there's going to be mountains to climb over or valleys to go down into. And when you're on that path, you know where you're going, you know how to get there, then it means more to you. then your goals are surrounded how to stay on that path. But too many times, and especially you new coaches, I get it. What we're asking you to do is outside of your normal day-to-day life. We understand that. We understand that for you to build a business, you can't keep doing what you're doing now. You have to do something different. We get that. And in fact, we expect that. But I don't know if you know that. I apologize. Well, I don't know if I apologize. I'm being blunt, but it's just me and you right now. Like, we're just talking face to face. I love you. We're friends. But I need to talk to you like this. You need to know that idea of I can do it myself just isn't going to happen. You have to have a plan in place. You do have to, it is going to get difficult. It is going to be uncomfortable. You are going to have to do things you normally don't do, but that's okay because you know what path you're on. You know what the end result looks like. And so you do those things to stay on that path to get you to your goal. But if all you're doing is like, yeah, I'm just going to press play every day, I'm going to drink my shake, and wherever I end up is great, I promise you're going to get frustrated. You're going to get frustrated because then you realize, I'm not successful. I'm going to step back. Don't be that person. Be the person that knows where you're going and know what the path looks like, know what the terrain looks like, and know what the end goal looks like. If you haven't already, take time to write down what you want to achieve and write down what you need to do to achieve that goal. If I could, I'd have a one-on-one with every one of you, and I would go over this specifically of what you want to do, what you want to achieve, how you want to achieve it, and hold you to it. And this is the last thing before I move on to tip number 2, if you think you can do this by yourself, you're fooling yourself. I promise you are. You have to stay accountable to something or somebody. Do this as a team. Do this with partners. Do this with your upline. Do this with people you trust, and let them hold you accountable. You're going to fail. That's okay. Everybody fails. But it's knowing fail that gets you back up. Because that's where success is going to lie, is getting back up when you fall. We're all going to fall. We're all going to fail. We're all going to have bad months, bad weeks. We're all going to be binging. We're all going to be slacking off in our business. It happens. That's okay. But it's knowing what you do after that happens. That's where success is going to come in. So my tip number 1 is know where you want to go. If you guys can wrap your hand around that thought, know where you want to go, that's a huge deal, because then you have something to go for. Tip number 2, here we go. And I'm going to illustrate this with a Christmas gift that my son received. So for Christmas this year, my son didn't get it from me, but he loves to draw. And actually, he's pretty darn good. And so for Christmas, one of his cousins gave him this sketch diary, okay? Which, blank paper. But look, isn't this motivational? It's a sketch diary. So if you want to sketch, here are some blank sheets of paper that helps you sketch. And so he got this, and he's like, "Oh, great!" And I started thinking, well, maybe I'll say this. So he got this, and the second thing that he opened was this: how to draw 50 animals. And so if you go to any random page, it shows you step by step of how to draw animals. Okay. So I started thinking about this, and I always relate things to Beachbody just because that's my life. And I thought about how we approach other people, how we talk to other people. And when you bring people on, a lot of the times we give them just this. And we say, "Congratulations, you're a coach. You're going to be so successful. Look what I got you. Ready, go." And look what's inside. Nothing. We're assuming that they're going to take this and become the best artists ever. And we're just going to say, here you go, ready, go. And because it's a sketch diary, that we're going to assume they know how to sketch. I don't know. If you were to give this to me, I would draw stick figures, and I would be frustrated, because if you expected me to draw something like this, I would be frustrated. But the successful coaches who bring other people on also give them this, the step-by-step guide of how to become successful. The start here. Okay, awesome. Okay, now move to this. Now move to this. And it's a step-by-step instruction so that they know how to use this. It all comes down to, here's the tip. Don't assume people know what to do on how to achieve success. If you think just because they're excited they're going to be successful, you're going to fall into that pit again. This is the leadership side of me coming out. This is tip number 2. Don't assume. Don't assume. Don't assume people know what to do to achieve success. Don't just give them this. Give them the step-by-step. Talk to them. Help them. These people are brand new. They just want to become healthy. They want to become fit. And if they want to build a business, they're probably new to this. They've never run a business before. They've never been a CEO, never been an entrepreneur, they don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to invite. They don't know how to do a team page. They don't know how to do these things. And so, but we say, just go do it. You got it. Successful people give their new coaches the step-by-step. And the Champions page can be part of that. Right here, that's completely fine. You can direct people to here. But don't assume that they're at a certain level. Know what level they're at. One of the biggest frustrations people have, and I don't care in any relationship out there, is miscommunication. If it's with your spouse, if it's with your partner, if it's with your kids, if it's with a coworker, whatever it may be. When people are misaligned and they misunderstand and their false assumptions, their miscommunication happens, and it's frustrating. But when people talk it out, when they are on the same level, then they can move up together. I would have no clue if you were to say, okay, ready, Kevin, draw an elephant. You're not going to get what you want, because I don't know how to draw an elephant. But if you give me this step by step and help me along the way, then I feel good about myself, because, hey, I didn't know I could draw an elephant. And you're excited because, hey, he did what I asked him to do. This concept alone is huge. Helping people achieve success by talking to them, by assisting them, by giving them the tools necessary to achieve their level of success, without me assuming that they can just take this book and draw an elephant. I hope that made sense. That's kind of where my thoughts are at. These tips, like I said at the beginning, are not new, but if you implement them, they're huge. Because 2019 is going to be your year. I've had so many people, the post I did last week about what's going to be different in 2019, because your guys' responses was amazing. It was amazing. You guys did so. You guys, if you do what you said you would do, if you achieve what you said, what you posted, guys, just imagine the possibilities. But what's going to hold you to it? It's knowing the path that you're on, sticking to that path, for good or for bad, and it's helping people achieve success. It's not assuming. It's helping people achieve that level of success. That's where my thoughts are at today. This is how 2019 is going to work. And I just remembered one thing that I completely forgot, is this, and I'll end with this. One of the new things that we're going to introduce to the Champions page is every Tuesday, we are introducing what's called Action Hour, formerly known as the hour where you do power stuff. Okay, it's Action Hour. We are going to show you, we're going to bring top coaches onto this page, and every Tuesday for an hour. Yes, for an hour, this coach is going to come on and do a live action hour with you. They're going to show you exactly what they do during their action hour. They're going to give you scripts. They're going to talk you through how to do invites. They're going to say, okay, for the next 10 minutes, you're going to do this, and then stop. And then for the next 15 minutes, we're going to do this. Okay, stop. And here's some of the things. They're going to go through with you what an action hour looks like. And Shane Mason Fryer is going to be the first one to do this next Tuesday. We are so excited about this because this is showing you exactly what you need to do. This is what successful coaches do. This is what our top coaches do. This is what you need to do. So as you see this every Tuesday, you'll see a new coach, and you'll see their style, their flair of how they do action hours. But for that hour, join them. Join them to build your business. We're so excited, guys. Thanks for joining me today on this training. We will see you again on another training. Here's to an awesome 2019.